Hey guys, what's up? It's Hoshnasi. I got this SOL survival kit here. Dimensions are 3.875 inches by 2.75 inches by 1.5 inches, and it weighs just over 6 ounces. Totally pocketable. Comes with an exterior mirror. I still have the film left on here. I suggest you, if you buy one of these, keep the film on until you actually need it, then take it off. In the back you have a knife, a whistle, and a light, very tiny light. One of the gripes on this kit, a fire starter, which is like a flint sparker off of a butane lighter without the lighter portion. It's just the sparker. And you also have a small little bubble compass. One of the downsides is the bubble compass rides above the surface of the flat side of the case. This can cause it to get scratched, and it's kind of sensitive to make it want to go point north. You do have an actual bubble that's floating on top here, and that kind of impedes the float angle of the disc, making it a bit of a problem. The one plus side though is for a kit like this knife, although small, comes shaving sharp. I can easily cut hair with this off of my arm. It's an Osate blade, meaning it's an okay for edge retention, but it's not the greatest survival type blade that you could have. It does have a bit of a tendency to not want to lock open, so make sure you really positively lock it in place. The whistle, not bad. It's comparable to other survival whistles I have, but it's not anywhere near like the really good ones. The light, like I said, is abysmal. It's like a photon light, like one of those photon lights, and that's just not that great. So keep that in mind. Inside the kit, which is closed in this waterproof container, you have a handy little waterproof, tear-resistant pamphlet with survival tips if you're out in the cold. You have fire starter, you have wire, a tiny fishing kit. Now, you have 4 hooks, 2 swivels, 2 lock gates, and 2 crunch waders and some line. I could easily fish a lot of things with that. Anything in California just about in freshwater, I can fish with that. So that works out just fine. Maybe not steelhead. You have some wire here in case you were industrious to make snares or you needed it for a shelter. Realistically though, you have this nylon, which is better suited for making a shelter. There's also a bit of foil in the bottom. The foil, I imagine you could, it's also got some safety pins and needles and other things like that. A bit of 2 safety pins and 1 sewing needle. So I guess you could mend clothing, or if you had a tarp with you, you could keep that in working order. So let me talk about some of the use cases for this and why I'm not totally a fan of this kit in the way it sits now, but I think with some easy modifications, you can really make this a superstar. First, the wire, although takes up very little space, doesn't really have a huge use case. And think about it. When you have a kit like this, you want 3 things, right? You want fire, shelter, and most importantly, the number 1 thing that if a kit like this you had and it can help you with, water. This kit, well, it has foil and technically a way to start a fire, so you could technically like melt snow or boil water if you're in a situation where you had a purification issue. If you're already in snow, you don't have that big of a problem. You can just put the snow in your mouth. Not the greatest way to go, but it's better than not having water. If you're somewhere more dry, then being able to purify water is a higher importance. What they should have put in here is some kind of vessel to hold water, and then like a water purification tablet. That would have been much better with this kit, and it wouldn't have added much weight at all. It does come with a lanyard. That's also something. That comes inside the case, so by taking out the lanyard, you actually free up space. I think you could probably fit a couple of purification tablets and a Ziploc bag in here. The tinder it comes with, the 4 tinder, is fine, works great. The problem you're going to have is you only have 1 method of lighting a fire, and that's that flint lighter. I would have much preferred that they used a ferrocerium rod. The problem with that is then it would have raised the cost of the unit considerably, as ferrocerium is a lot more expensive than a little flint striker from a lighter. And lastly, like I was saying, the wire's helpful, but if you're in a survival situation, I don't know that you're going to be there long enough to be snaring game. You might be, but you're going to have your water sorted out before that's of major importance. So keep it in mind, at $35 is a bit on the pricey side, but with some additions of maybe a purification tablet, with like a water carrying vessel, like a Ziploc bag or something like that, you'd fold up and put in here, you'd actually be okay to go, because you'd at least have the water taken care of. All right guys, that's my little mini review on the SOL survival kit. Thanks a lot.